Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Keela. Basically, I am Black Girl Magic Master, a real live representation. And this is my take on news, morning news, preferably before 10 o'clock in the morning. So, thanks for joining me on the East Coast. Yes, I am the CEO of Black Girl Magic Masters. Basically, we're an economic development center. We basically are a business health clinic. Yes. I help make sure business are healthy. I'm pursuing my doctorate in business administration. And I'm bringing you guys along for the ride because we cannot wait. So let's get into the news that I've been actually reading. So, according to Morning Brew, they want us to remember something that happened to us all yesterday, probably. We all probably forgot to turn off our alarm clock because we were there. It was a holiday. It was Monday, and we forgot to turn off our alarm clock. So, Morning Brew wants us to remember, please, on July 4th, make a mental note of changing that alarm clock setting. You know what I'm talking about. So, Morning Brew also wanted to bring us up to date on their take on what was happening in the stock market. Now, we will be getting into what Bloomberg also has to say about this. And I'm also a Forbes girl. So, I'm always Google focused. So, therefore, we're going to try as best as we can to just kind of report news that you really can use. Um, we're going to give them an opportunity to give us a call back later. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet. Am I the only one that feels as though that any important phone call or any calls you want to make towards me will happen after 9 a.m.? That's just what I think. I mean, that's just my belief. All right, so let's get back into news that you can use. My goodness, welcome back, and thank you for staying along with me. If you can hear the wonderful, wonderful birdies in the background, wonderful. Anyway, so basically, Bloomberg is reporting that whatever we were doing last week, we need to keep doing it because the markets basically they broke a long weekly losing streak that was happening, and the S&P and the Dow posted their best week since November of what? 2020. Okay, so they want us to continue whatever we're doing. They're saying basically that investors got some kind of dopamine shot or dopamine rush when retailers basically posted strong earnings. Now, and they also saw that the inflation report showed price growth was easing up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you right now, I hope that they are not basing this economy off of the strength of how much people are spending right now. I just was saying. I'm just saying. All right. So then Bloomberg also wanted to, Morning Brew wanted us all to know that oil prices definitely rose to a 2-month high over the weekend. And the average cost of gas is like $4.62. All right, so we're going to move on to other news that you might be interested in too. That I'm reporting from Morning Brew is that there's a shortage of lifeguards. There's some type of a extreme lifeguard shortage for the public swimming pools, and it's saying that lifeguards could prevent 1/3 of the 300,000 public pools in the U.S. from opening up this summer. 1/3 of the 300,000 free public pools. Well, I won't say free, but public pools might not open due to the fact that we have a shortage, a real life shortage when it comes to lifeguards. So I just know you might know some youngsters or some people that might be interested in becoming a lifeguard. Please, please go on and let them know that there is definitely a shortage. All right. So what I really love about, Morning Brew is that they give us some grab bag stuff, some stuff, they give us some statistics and things. And I love their statistics, but they're saying about 70% of the tickets that were presented by Liverpool fans ahead of a championship league final in Paris were fake. So they got a real live fake situation going over there across the seas when it comes to their little sporting events that they're watching. Also, in the grab bag news that Morning Brew reported is that they're saying that Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois told CNN that he had maybe changed his mind on a federal ban on AR 15 weaponry following the shooting that happened in Uvalde, Texas, that killed 21, including 19 children, while the NRA convention was going on, I might add. That's my ad. Anyway, but the representative went on to say urgency that maybe we didn't feel before regarding legislation that restricts gun access. This is why there's an urgency now. Out of, all of a sudden. All right. So, but here's some other little situations. That Morning Brew also presents, they call it What Else is Brewing, but they're saying that the FDA, this is what Morning Brew is reporting, that the FDA is investigating two brands of organic strawberries that could be linked to an outbreak of hepatitis A. It's saying that the strawberries have been sold at chains including your favorite Trader Joe's, Walmart, and Aldi. It seems to be going after y'all high class people. I don't know. The high class that be shopping thrifty? Sounds kind of fishy to me. Also, the World Health Organization, the WHO's, basically their lead on monkeypox said that there's really no need for us to be worrying, even though we're seeing a little uptick, and even though they don't have no answers as to why. They don't have no answers. But no global pandemic is expected from this whole little monkeypox situation that they're going on. So, yeah. Also, Morning Brew in their What Else is Brewing is reporting that there's a sign of the times happening because the Ukrainian band that won Eurovision basically sold its trophy to a cryptocurrency exchange for the amount of $900,000. Yes, they did, y'all, and used the proceeds to buy drones for the country's army. That's what they did. See, that's a sign of the time. Also, they're reporting that Hurricane, we have our first name, Hurricane. We do it by lettering. So I will say this is the first because they've named it Hurricane Agatha. Hurricane Aggie, I would like to call her, is lashing Mexico's freaking western coastline as the strongest May storm to hit the Eastern Pacific on record. All right, you know what I'm talking about. So let's go into what Bloomberg has been reporting. So on the Bloomberg Open, they said, good morning. This is what we need to know after the long weekend. And it's saying that more of Europe agrees to mostly saying no to Russian oil, Russian crude. Mostly of the Europeans. All right. So the White House hosts an inflation summit, and Joe Biden admitted he's limited in what he can do about this whole gun violence situation. We all know that, but the fact that y'all are reporting that it speaks volumes. But I also will say this about certain news reporting. See, I'm trying to be balanced. I'm trying to report from the Democratic leaning news reporting situation, Morning and the Republican leaning Bloomberg type of situations. Even though you're very independent, but so and then I go with CNN. Try to get there in the middle some kind of way. But anyway, let's continue reporting Bloomberg. But they're saying that what's happening now is that the crude oil roared to a 2-month high after the EU leaders, the European leaders, they agreed to pursue a partial ban on Russian oil. See, so crude oil basically went up at that point. The penalties would forbid purchase of seaborne imports, but include a temporary exemption of pipeline supply. The penalties would forbid purchases of seaborne imports, but include a temporary exemption for pipeline supply. Hungary, which had been holding up a deal for weeks, is said to have secured a guarantee that it'd be able to take crude from Russia if pipelines were disrupted. Hmm. Bloomberg is saying there's signs of optimism. Basically, supply strains in the U.S. appears to be easing. The line of ships that are headed to South Carolina top ports is less than a quarter of January's record backup. You know what I'm talking about. And, a lot of that had to do with them actually raising the level that they could stack shit up. But anyway, thank you, Joe Biden. It's just a little small note about transportation that he definitely helped with this whole shipping supply situation. Go Joe Biden. But anyway, so like I said, the line of ships are basically headed to South Carolina's top ports, and basically it's less than a quarter of what we saw in January. And it says that spot container rates are down, and it's saying that delays at some of the rail depots are said to be shortening, and every sign of a cooling economy may help to supply chains rebalance, but there are some skeptics who say this might not work out. So also Bloomberg is reporting that the earnings rush, my goodness, is starting to slow down, but there are still some pretty big names on tap here because you got the Salesforce people. They will help investors to gauge software demands after hours. Now that's really good for Salesforce. You need to do that, and they're going to be optimizing around their HP results, because they had high results after strong results from Dell last week. So Dell is posting some really good. Go on, Dell. And other highlights include GameStop. So GameStop tomorrow. I'm gonna need y'all to pay attention to what happens on GameStop tomorrow. This is according to Bloomberg opening. You know that the stock market is going to open up here at 9:30. So y'all just get ready. Also, Bloomberg has a spotlight here. They're saying that retailers' next challenge is going to be selling all the stuff that they done been stacking up. They're saying that the pile up companies like Walmart and Target saw investors balloon 44.8 billion last quarter, and it's up 26% from a year ago. So after rushing to build supply amid soaring demand and logistical chaos, yeah, companies have the pile up. Companies like Walmart and Target saw those inventories balloon, like I said, up to $44.8 billion worth of inventory last quarter. Okay. But the dilemma, here we go. We got this well-stocked well-stocked warehouses, and it may help if, this port congestion that we're talking about actually worsens again. It sucks to say, but this is what Bloomberg is. So, but it says, but with consumers adjusting their tastes and taking inflation into account, extra supply may also put retailers at risk of being left with a glut of merchandise that people just don't want anymore. I mean, we are finicky. This is why I do not like selling products. And when you see people like Walmart and Target having some issues, man, pay attention. So Bloomberg is telling us that some things that we need to watch is the inflation summit, because the Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, they're going to actually join Joe Biden at the White House today for a "what can we do" talk. What can we do? You know what I'm saying? So Biden's top priority is tackling basically price growth. But the general state of the economy is also on the agenda at this summit that he's having today at the White House. You know what I'm saying? Now, Christopher Waller believes he knows what he would tell Biden what to do. He wants hikes of 50 basis points for several meetings until, he says, inflation nears 2%. Mr. Christopher Waller, Waller, he also said that he's okay with rates above neutral. He's saying a level that neither speeds nor slows the growth by the year's end, especially if inflation proves to be stubbornly high. This is what Mr. Waller said. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, on gun violence, Biden has conceded that he's limited to what he can do to help. I mean, he said he's fresh off of a visit to the Texas school where last week's massacre took place. And this is what Biden said. He says, I can do things I've done and any executive action I can take. He says, I'll continue to take, but I can't outlaw a weapon. This is what Biden said is reporting, and that people who did not know that are coming for my president need to stop. And I just want to we're going to talk about it. They had a whole NRA convention. I'm going to need y'all to direct your attention to what happened at that convention. But anyway, I digress. Now, let's continue talking about top headlines. Now, this is what Bloomberg Open is reporting. And basically, they're saying Agatha also is the first storm of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. You know, we just reported that. You know what I'm saying? It made its landfall in Mexico's Oaxaca state yesterday at just below a Category 3. You know what I'm saying? It had flash floods and mudslides were expected in what may be the strongest May storm to have ever hit that region. So we just need to just go on and just pray for them people right now. All right, so we want to do CNN's report, but okay, let's do CNN. Let's do CNN. Also, you know, after we finish reporting what CNN is going to do, his top 5 headlines, 5 things CNN thinks we need to know, we're going to get right into 3 habits of broke people and what are the net worth requirements in America today, or as of 2017, which is a good parameter. So today, CNN's 5 things is they're reporting that a group of scientists in France may be able to save humanity from climate change, and that for nearly a century, the world has been trying to develop a limitless clean energy process called nuclear fusion, which could power much of the earth instead of fossil fuels. You know what I'm saying? Like coal, oil, and gas, you know, things that Joe mentioned. Joe Manchin, the Democrat, in name only, I call him Dino Manchin. He loves, you know, fossil fuels. But like I said, there's a group of scientists in France that may be able to save humanity. Thank God for those scientists in France, because Joe Manchin sure don't care about humanity. Apparently, I'm gonna need him to go on exit stage left and get off the Democrat stage, period, and go ahead and put your freaking Republican name on yourself, because right now you're a disgrace. And I digress. But anyway, CNN 5 things are reporting that there are 5 wonderful, or a group of scientists in France that are able to save humanity against Joe Manchin's wishes. And they've developed a limitless clean energy process called nuclear fusion. Hallelujah. Basically, what's going on here, scientists are closer than ever to making it happen. And they report more on that CNN 5 things. If you do not got that coming to your email, I strongly suggest you go ahead and get it now. I'm gonna try to go back and put all the links to where I got my information today back in this description. But life is busy. I have a graduating senior. I have I have a young lady that's turning into a senior. So it's crazy around these parts. Not to mention, I'm also pursuing my doctoral degree, and I had to turn in my peer assessment and chapter 1 of my dissertation tonight. So if I don't get back to telling y'all look it up yourself. Shit, you already doing the most easiest thing, watching me. But anyway, but don't I look fabulous? I'm trying a new technique that the young ladies are doing. They're doing a little whole face eye work situation. And since it worked wonderful with my topless glasses, I decided to go on and try it out. What you think, youngies? What you think, young ladies? I love it. I love it on me. All right, I'm going to do some other bold situations because your girl is bold. I'm what? The Black Girl Magic Master. What? Shakila? Mama had high ideas, and she was absolutely correct. So, number 1 in CNN's top 5 things, the Texas shooting. The first funerals are being held this week for the victims of the Uvalde school shooting. Families of the victims have received custom caskets provided at no cost, and two funeral homes in Uvalde have vowed to cover all expenses. Meanwhile, questions remain about the response by law enforcement to the shooting. The gunman who killed 19 students and two teachers was on the premises for up to an hour before officers forcibly entered a classroom and killed him, officials said last week. School Police Chief Pedro Pete Arredondo has faced criticism from those who feel officers should have acted quicker to subdue or eliminate the gunman. Um, the Uvalde City Council separately announced it would, basically postpone its meetings today because several new members, including Arredondo, were set to be sworn in. Arredondo has not been seen by the press since the shooting. All right, number two in CNN's top 5 things, Ukraine. See, as Russia remains defiant, because Russia is remaining defiant in the face of sanctions from the West, the European Union, the EU, has dealt another blow to the Kremlin by partially banning Russian oil imports to the EU, period. See, the ban immediately covers more than 2/3 of the oil imports from Russia, basically cutting a huge source of financing for its war machine. So the European Council chief, Charles Michael, said that it's in a tweet yesterday. Now, this man reported in a tweet yesterday, and this is the European Council chief. A sixth package of sanctions was also recently discussed by EU leaders, which could contain other hard-hitting measures, including cutting off the largest Russia bank, the SWIFT network, banning more of Russian state-owned broadcasters and sanctioning individuals responsible for war crimes in Ukraine. On the ground today, Russia is focusing on establishing control over the Severodonetsk attack, and it's hammering the region right now. And it's using constant shelling to do it. So this is what the Ukrainian military are saying. Number 3 on CNN's top 5 things today, they're talking about the monkeypox. There has been 257 confirmed monkeypox cases, about 120 suspected cases in 23 nations, including the U.S. The World Organization announced in an update over the weekend. Now, y'all know I just reported from 2 other news organizations, and okay, we're going to continue. I digress. In the U.S., go and review this, man. Rewind this video after you're done. And then like, share, follow, subscribe. My goodness, we people, we family. What's going on? Look at my favorite. That is my favorite worker right there. Always going to work, Mr. Squirrel. Literally inspires me. I've been watching this squirrel for like 10 years. No lie. Or I've been watching the Squirrel Highway. But anyway, in the U.S., the CDC has reported 12 cases of monkeypox. And in 5 African countries where monkeypox is commonly found, the WHO, the World Health Organization, said it received reports of 1,365 cases and 69 deaths from December through May due to this virus. No deaths have been reported in non-endemic countries. The WHO, the WHO, said the global public health risk level is moderate, but could become high if the virus spreads to groups at higher risks of severe disease, such as young children and immunosuppressed persons. Number 4 in CNN's top 5 things that I have coming to my email every day is they're saying flight cancellations, that it was a chaotic holiday weekend for those traveling by air. Since Friday, they're saying upwards of 6,000 global flights were canceled, with hundreds more flights delayed, according to flight tracking data. So if someone's not at work today, please understand they probably were in line somewhere or at the airport. All right, Delta Airlines was heavily affected by the cancellations, with more than 500 domestic and international flights, you know, that were axed from Saturday through yesterday. Today is Tuesday. In case you did not know, today is Tuesday, May 31st. And it's 9:09 on the Eastern set of time. And I'm feeling fine. But anyway, like I said, Delta Airlines was heavily affected by the cancellations, with more than 500 domestic and international flights that were axed from Saturday through yesterday. The carrier blamed Saturday's cancellations on bad weather and air traffic control actions that took place on Friday, saying that it's trying to preemptively cancel flights at least 24 hours in advance. But they're also citing an abnormal amount of COVID cases. Let me add that to CNN. That's something I heard in another reported situation. News brought something today. But that was something also. And the most affected airports over the weekend included New York and the Washington, D.C. areas. And number five on CNN's top 5 things they want us to know about today. And it comes to my email, and you should have it coming to your email today. Every day as well. But you can also catch me reporting what I think we can use here. That's why you come here. That's why I love you. Like, share, subscribe. You're my baby. At least 90 people have been, I'm sorry, at least 91 people have been killed due to heavy rain in northeastern Brazil, according to the civil defense, as residents brace for more floods and landslides. A further 26 people are still reported missing, and many more people could be unaccounted for. Officials said this yesterday. And since heavy rains began on Wednesday, nearly 4,000 residents have lost their houses in Brazil. According to CNN Brazil, this is what they are telling us. 14 municipalities have declared a state of emergency. Some areas have registered more rain in a 24-hour period over the weekend than the volume expected for the month of May. Yes. Now that we've reported from our 3 favorite news headlines, let's talk about 3 habits of broke people. Let's talk about my notes that I took last night. I'm doing my dissertation on generational wealth building, just for a lack of better way to explain it. So I'm always constantly reading and researching. And last night's notes and videos I took from the Betterment boss. I'm going to definitely put the link to the Betterment boss in this description so that you guys can go and see it yourselves. But I just broke it down really quickly. The 3 habits of broke people. One thing is broke people. Well, number 3. We're going to go with number 3. Broke people are financially blind most of the time. Basically can't see the forest for the trees, meaning they're so involved in making whatever money right now that they're not even seeing the big picture. Okay, so number 3 on why people are broke and their habits is because they're they're financially blind, right? Number 2, 3 habits on why people are broke people. They over reward themselves. Number 1, they always chasing after some old quick win. Those were the 3 habits of broke people: chasing quick wins, over rewarding yourself, and being financially blind. And then I wanted to end my last night's research knowing what did American consider net worth for each class here in America, right? And when I looked at the net worth requirements, and I could only get research back into 2017 right now, but the lower class basically were considered lower class if they made $12,752 to $24,800. And if you had 2 adults and a mortgage, lower class would be considered $27,085 in the bank account, right? Then, and that's 12.3%. 12.3% of the nation is considered lower class as of 2017. Also, in last night's notes, I found out 52% of America's middle class, 52% of America is in middle class, and they are averaging somewhere between $42,000 and $126,000 as of 2017. And basically, if you were making $61,372 in 2017, you were considered to be in America's middle class, right? So then in 2017, like I said, it was the furthest that I could get as of last night's research. I'm always researching these numbers, but as of 2017, the net worth requirements in America for you to be considered rich, which was 25% of America in 2017, you had to have a net worth of 1.9 million to 2.6 million dollars. You know what I'm saying? Just to be considered a part of the lower rich class, because they have two classes. They got the lower rich class and the upper rich class. You know, they got to class themselves out. You know what I'm saying? You have the new money and the old money, basically. But basically, some of the also notes is all of this was according to the U.S. Census Bureau and Pew, and it was saying ultimately from this video that social status was the most important determinant of net worth. People are really caring about who keep up with the Joneses. All those people that are right before Generation X are considered Generation Jones. You should look into it. But there's a link between educational attainment and wealth accumulation, and that is my dissertation. So I will talk to you guys, and I will see you guys on the flip side. It has been what? News that you can use. All right, I'll see y'all on the flip side. See you tomorrow. Peace.